In today's video, something that all of the best players in the world do. Proof that the best have their weight forwards as they hit the ball. And specifically when I'm referring to weight forwards, it's the displacement of the pelvis towards the target. Let's dive in and have a look. Specifically, what do I mean by weight forwards? Because those terms in of themselves can be relatively vague. What is forwards? What is the weights? So here, I think this is a perfect illustration of it. We have the greatest golfer ever, arguably, Jack Nicklaus with 18 majors. Tiger Woods was chasing his record, stuck at 15, so currently, who knows? But really good illustration with this top view. So you have Jack Nicklaus at set up on the left-hand side, and you have his head in position. And I've marked off with a little red circle here where his right hip would be, okay? As he makes his backswing, what do you notice? Well, the head stays very much where it was. It's swiveling, it's tilting, it's doing things, but it remains roughly in that same position it was in at address. Whereas you can see that the right hip has gone towards the target. So I've drawn a red line with an arrow indicating the direction of travel of that right hip. So you can see it's moved further forwards. Then on the picture on the right, you can see his head is still not effectively where it started, but you can see how his pelvis is now so much more forwards than it was as he set up to the golf ball. And this is the weight shift. This is the movement of the hips towards the target. So you mustn't confuse head motion towards the target with hip motion towards the target. The weight shift is done with a relatively centered, steady head, and it's the hips that shift the weight. It's the hips that go towards the target. So that's what weight transfer is. It's the hip shift towards the target. And that is what every player who's any good at the game does. And again, we're going to look at it now. We're going to show you the proof. Every golfer who's any good, they have their weight forwards, their hips have moved forwards towards the target as they hit the ball at impact. If you look at Jack's image just for a second longer here, notice that hip shift happens throughout the time and space of the swing. In reality, there might actually be an advantage of starting with the weight forwards and just keeping it there the whole time and not having such a pronounced shift. That would definitely be an option. But again, at the moment of truth, at impact, the best players in the world all have the weight forwards. No questions asked. Every single one. Proof coming up right now. Quickly, just why is it important? Why do they all have the weight forwards? Well, if you are trying to hit a high, long shot consistently with a good strike, it's paramount, it's vital, which is why they all do it. But very briefly, just in terms of contact, the best players obviously are trying to hit ball, then turf when they come and hit the golf ball. They're not trying to hit the ground before the ball, nor are they trying to hit the top of the ball. It's ball, then turf, divot after the ball, and through to their finish. Now, if I'm making my swing and my weight moves back onto my trail side and I keep it back on the trail side, what's the likelihood? Yeah, guess what? I'm going to hit the ground before the ball. If my weight is forwards on my lead side as I approach the golf ball, guess what? There's a much better chance that I'm going to be able to hit the ground on the target side of the golf ball. So that's really the main reason, the main factor why all the best players do it. And when you think of the best players, they can be under the severest pressure, under the gun, heat of battle, last hole, everything on the line, lots of money, prestige and a title. The golfers aren't standing there hitting their approach shot into the green thinking, ooh, I might fat or thin this one. No, not at all. They are going to hit a solid shot. It might not go the distance they want for a shot to go, and it might not curve exactly how they want it to curve, but they are going to hit a pretty solid golf shot, right? Why? Well, because they have their weight forwards. So here we have a catalogue of golfers on the tour illustrating how they shifted their hips towards the targets for the moment of impact. So as you can see, at impact, they all have their hips forwards, their weight forwards. Now, I think this was compiled by one of my friends in the Stack Tilt network. I'm thinking possibly Sam Quirk in Surrey, or maybe perhaps Nick Adcock in the US, but I could be completely wrong. But they've done a terrific job, and what we notice is, if you have a look at the yellow line, so we'll look at Adam Scott's top left. So there's an initial yellow line right here, so that's where the hip started, and then this second yellow line is where the hip is right now as they are at impact. So you can see that hip shift of quite a number of inches. And as you look across the screen, you'll notice that all the players are doing that. And this is a real who's who of the golfing greats here. People that people love the swings of, like Robert Rock, bottom left, just second in, Ben Hogan, top right. You've got top instructors, you've got McIlroy, middle from the third from the left. Just a real who's who. And it doesn't matter what sort of shot shape they hit. You can see Lee Westwood, free from bottom on the right-hand side, and he hits a cut. Then you have players who are hitting draws and everything in between. They are all shifting their hips towards the targets with no exceptions at all. So again, really just proof that this is a move that the best players in the world all do, and therefore it's really important that if you don't already have this in your game, if you don't have your hips forwards enough, you really start to work on it. And of course you can send me your swing videos on the Skillist app, and I'll be delighted to work with you and tell you whether your hips are forwards enough or not. Let's also have a little look at a couple of swings dynamically. On the left we have Bryson, and just as further proof, let's illustrate where the pelvis starts, so align each side of the hips. And as he comes through the ball, notice how much his hips are going to crash through that line, right? So see how far forwards his left knee is, how far in front of the ankle that is. His hips are coming crashing forwards. So that is at the moment of impact. Let's rewind right here. You can see how much of a displacement there's been with the hips having moved like this towards the target. Then on the right hand side, Esther Henseleit, one of my favorite swings on the LPGA. We'll do the same thing. We'll mark align each side of the pelvis like so. And as she makes her swing back and then down to impact, again, you see that pronounced movements of the hips towards the target. It's just one of those things that every single golfer who's any good does, for the reasons I explained prior, right? So just in pictures, so you really see the picture. I think the pictures are really powerful, because when you can see the pictures, you can start to get an idea of how much you are meant to do it. And when you see that it's golfer after golfer after golfer who does it, you'll start to think, okay, well, if one of these golfers are doing this, if this isn't an idiosyncrasy of just one or two, then perhaps I ought to do that in my game as well. And that is the key thing. Sometimes we pinpoint, or sometimes instructors pinpoint, just rare little moves, like idiosyncratic traits that this golfer might have, like they do this differently to every other golfer, and so it's okay for you to do it too. Not quite. It's got to match up with everything else that you're doing. But they do have so many commonalities, so many moves that they do in the same way, that you really should consider putting those into your game and having them as part and parcel of your swing. So again, here we had Bryson on the left, Esther Henseleit on the right, just really showing how the displacement of the hips happens. So at impact, all the best players in the world, without fail, all have their hips, their weight forwards. Just a couple more photos just to further cement, prove how all the best players have their weight, their hips forwards as they make impact, as they make contact with the golf ball. So here on the left-hand side, we have Scheffler, and if I draw a line vertically down from his trail hip, you see how that's considerably forwards of his trail heel, and forwards from the lead hip, and that's under that, on top of that heel. So you can see that displacement of the hips towards the target. Tony Finau, same thing. Look at the hips having gone forwards. Brooks Koepka, same thing. The hips are way more forwards than they were when he started. John Rahm, same thing. You can see how much that trail hip is moving towards the target. Charlie Hoffman, same thing. The hips are forwards as he hits the ball. Ryan Moore, again. All of these, just examples, just random examples of players, Justin Thomas here, with the weight going forwards onto the lead side as they strike the ball. So then finally, just one more photo. Right here, a knee catalogue, and starting from the right, you've got Grant Waite, which you can really see the same thing. See how much the hips have gone towards the target. Then Sam Snead, Sergio Garcia, Ricky Fowler, Matteo Manacero, all of them with the weight forwards, the hips going towards the target. Bonus points for you if you can recognize the golfer on the left. You can see this displacement of the hips in all of them going like this towards the target. They are hitting the golf ball with their weight forwards. And if you want to play your best golf, you have to learn to do this as well. And again, if you think of all the different moves the golfers have, they all have their own idiosyncrasies, but there are some commonalities. This is one of them. Please make sure you do it. If you want any help, search me on Skillist and we'll get to work. Make sure you get this into your game. It's very doable. Happy golfing.
Thank you very much for watching the video. If you have any comments at all, then please don't hesitate to pop them down in the comments below. Likewise, if you haven't yet, then please do like and subscribe to my channel. It's absolutely going to help you play your best golf. Likewise, it will help me build a sound community of golfers all wanting to improve. If you'd like to work with me in person, you can do so right here on the south coast of England, near Bournemouth, or wherever you are in the world through the Skillist app. It's a fantastic way to get feedback no matter where you are in the world, and be sure to be on the steady roads towards your best golf. Happy golfing.